Everybody, for the record, this is the first time that Angie and I have actually Zoomed
Yes,
or
it's
FaceTime.
true. That's true. Yes, yes. Since you moved out there.
In continuation with our, our dating topics, I've got a list of questions. Some of them, from our people who watch our videos, some of them that I've wanted to ask for a while and talk about.
Right.
Let's just jump right in. Have you ever dated somebody that you were not initially attracted to physically?
I have. Yes. Yes, I have. Actually, it was so it was a friend of mine who used to own like his business next door to my office, and his best friend used to come and bring him lunch all the time, and he would come in and kind of flirt with me and say, oh, let me take you to lunch, blah blah blah. And one day, like after a year of him asking me out, I was single and I was like, okay, let's go out to dinner. And he took me to a really nice dinner at the Castaway out here in LA, and it was so sweet, and we ended up dating for 2 years.
Is that the Egyptian guy?
Yes.
Oh yeah. Okay. Wow.
Yeah, he was a friend, and I didn't like him from the beginning. I was like, no, he was very handsome, but I just like was not feeling him at all.
I mean, I've had that too. And usually it's somebody I meet organically.
Yeah.
Because you see kind of like what their personality is, like their demeanor is like. Whereas on an app, it's like very easy to just like swipe left. Oh, like, but in person, like if somebody maybe through work or whatever, I feel like, okay, you get to know other parts of their personality, not just the looks. And then, I'm more likely to like give them a chance or give it a chance.
Right.
And some of my like best relationships were with guys that actually was not initially attracted to.
Yeah, exactly. It just happens, right? Like you like their personality and then their looks come in afterwards. For me, it's looks first and then personality, which is stupid, but.
Okay, next question.
Yeah.
Have you dated somebody who is maybe not as educated or intelligent as you?
Yes. Technically, yes. Yeah, I have. And I'm going to have to go with the Egyptian again. Ugh.
Oh, really?
Yeah, same thing. He was from Egypt originally. So he was very foreigner, and the schools there are different. Like he went to school to learn how to like do gardening and stuff like that. So he didn't really know much about like just everything. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is too much. So that turned me off too.
I mean, like, okay, I've dated some guys who like definitely, not American born and foreign language speakers. Okay, they didn't go to like fancy schools or whatever, but like they're smart in some ways that I'm not very smart at. Like,
yes.
Or like I had some weaknesses I have, like they have strengths in those places. But at the same time, like by that same token, I've dated guys who went to work, like went to the same university as me, or like, went to Ivy League schools. And there have been some of the worst like dates I've had, or some like the worst relationships.
Yeah. It's funny though, because I dated a guy who said he went to Pepperdine and USC, but when he would text me, he misspelled everything. And I'm like, what is he? I don't think he went to those schools. Maybe he was lying. Who knows? But yeah, his grammar was awful. And if you went to both freaking schools, how are you so dumb when it comes to texting? I don't get it. So
did you look him up? Like
I didn't, because I didn't really care to invest any time.
You're like, I don't even care to like do a little search on him.
Well, yeah, because it wasn't something I saw, like in the long run, like long term kind of thing. So I was like, whatever. Okay, yeah, you went to Pepperdine and USC, and this is how you spell. This is your grammar. Please, I know you're the Nazi grammar. Look at you. Oh my God, you're dying.
No, it's just like, I mean. Well, then the lying about the school, like where you graduated thing is like, I think that's almost as dumb as lying about your age. Not as dumb, but still pretty dumb.
It is. It's pretty up there. I know. It's so true. It's true.
And I don't know about guys I've dated who have lied about where they went, but there was a female friend, I think I told you about her, who had lied about her age, but also like she told me she went to Berkeley.
Yeah.
I was like, so what'd you study? Like, that's really cool. Like, what'd you study there? And she said English literature. And I said, oh, like, what are some of your favorite authors and things? And she couldn't name one. And I'm like,
that's what I mean. This is why you should not lie. I swear.
Right. And it's like, and like a lot of these schools have alumni websites and networks. So it's very easy for me to go. And like, I went in the other day, I found like Elon Musk, because Elon Musk went to Penn. Like there was like a phone number. I don't know. I don't think it's his current phone number, but I mean, I'm sure if I search Donald Trump, like, cause they're like Wharton and Penn alums.
Yeah, it's true. It's like people should not lie, because they will, the truth will prevail. It's so embarrassing.
People exaggerate about things, but like your age and your university is like very easy to like prove. Like,
remember that guy you went on an online date with? And then you said, show me your license. And I
Oh,
said to you,
oh
this guy
yeah.
is,
Yeah.
remember
That
what
was the guy I
happened?
had met on Bumble, and he asked to meet in person. And he said in his profile that he was 38. And you were the one who gave me the idea to ask him, because I showed you pictures of him and you're like, he looks older than 38. And I was like, oh, really? Like, let me just ask him. So,
Yeah.
and we're waiting for our table. And I was like, so you're 38? He goes, yeah. I said, can I see your license? I'll show you mine.
I love it. I love it.
But first he lied and said he was 42. And then when I said, well, show me your license, then he told me he's 49. And I was like,
I can't believe it. See, okay. So here's the thing. Before all of these stories that you told me, about that and this guy, I used to lie about my age by like a year or two, but then I was like, okay, that is so stupid. Like, I'm like, I'm lying by a year or two. These people are lying by a decade. I mean, what is that? That is so ridiculous. So then, after I talked to you, I thought to myself, why do I lie about my age by a year or two? How ridiculous am I? How stupid. So now, because of you and thanks to you, I really tell my real age. But at the same time, I would never lie about a decade. That's so ridiculous.
well, and it's like, I mean, and you look amazing, like no matter what age, and I love it. Like, yeah, to be able to, always like just own it and be like, yep,
True.
50 and fabulous,
Exactly.
and let people be,
True.
like, in disbelief and let them ask for your driver. Like, no way, you're not 50. I'm like, yeah, see my,
Yeah, exactly. Here's my
that's
license.
right.
But if you lie, that just totally diminishes your chances.
It's just a bad foundation for anything.
Exactly.
Yeah, needless to say, I did not see that guy again. He never spoke to me again.
I wouldn't either. You humiliated him, which is great. And I'm sorry, he deserved it. Sorry.
He actually was like, text me when you get home, which I thought was it's very gentlemanly to do. And I texted, hey, like, I'm home. Thanks.
Yeah.
Never heard from him again. He didn't even sit like a thumbs up that I'm home. Okay. It was like,
he was probably dying. Like, oh my God, she called me out.
Yeah. Little did he know he's going to be on my YouTube. I'll just send him the link to this. At what point would you define a relationship?
I would define a relationship after getting to know somebody after 6 months.
6 months.
6 months. Yeah. Giving my history, I mean, I've dated extensively. And now that I'm older and I've dated extensively and I'm wiser, I feel like I wouldn't entertain it if it wasn't going to go anywhere after maybe a month. If a month goes by and I'm like not feeling it and seeing things, red flags, I'm leaving, because I used to give chance after chance after chance. And then I find myself just aging and wasting time. And in the end, it didn't work out because the things that I saw from the beginning were following me until the very end of the relationship. And so now I'm just like, forget it. If I don't like something, I give it a month. And if I don't like it, I leave,
Well,
so
yeah.
Yeah.
So those months up to the 6 months where you define it, like, are you dating other guys?
So like at the moment right now, I am seeing somebody and I've been seeing him for 6 months. And it's taken me that long to realize that that is who I want to be with. You know what I mean? And I think even now, I just got introduced to his child. He introduced me to a 6-year-old son, and I've never dated men with children. All of the men that I've dated have been single and self-centered and selfish, and rightfully so, because they have no kids, and I have a child. But the thing is, my son's 17. So it's been a long time since I've been around a little boy. So now the only dilemma is after 6 months, like I know I want to be with him, but now he's introduced me to his son who's 6 years old. And I've never played the part of a step parent or anything like that. And it's been a while. So now I kind of have to make it a little longer than 6 months, give it like another 3 months to see if it's something I want to really sign up for,
Okay.
But pace myself, because I used to be in a hurry to find a relationship, get in a relationship, and make him your boyfriend. Why? This way I'm not defining anything. And if I don't want to be with him, then I could just say, I'm so sorry, like this isn't working for me, So
Oh yeah, 100%. And I feel the same. Like, well, I've learned through like error, say through trial and error. Like I don't define the relationship. The guy, I let him. I mean, I know some women would they'll bring it up, but for me, like if the guy wants to be exclusive with me, he can bring it up. I'm assuming that like neither of us are exclusive until there's a conversation. And some people say, oh, why should you have to have a conversation? I think you should. I think communication is like number one. And if you can't talk about a very simple thing, like, and if he can't bring that up, it's like I still see other guys until he brings up that conversation.
Yeah. Yeah. And you have every right to do that because you don't want to waste your time. And at the end of 4 months, he's going to be like, I'm sorry, I don't want to date you anymore because I'm having problems or whatever. And you wasted the opportunity of dating other great guys that are out there for you.
Yeah. And I've had that type of, where like, okay, I've been dating other guys, but I have like a favorite guy, but then we
Yes.
still can't like step up but it's like, okay. And it sucks, but like, at
Yeah.
least I was never, I mean, not say, at least I was never exclusive with him, but I mean, like, it's never fun, but it's like, you have to like
Yeah.
deal with.
Yeah.
And on to the kids thing. You reminded me, there's another question on here. What did you learn from your last relationship that you take into your next one or your current one? And you reminded me of the kids thing, because I dated somebody with a kid and I would never do that again. Not until I have a kid of my own, because I don't have any kids. Okay, yeah. So
no, I totally understand where you're coming from. I mean, I have a kid and I don't know if I could do it. You know what I mean? It's ridiculous. From my last relationship, I dated a 50-year-old man who was, now that I'm no longer with him and we've been broken up since last July, and I'm in a better relationship now, it's like, wow, he was so self-centered, so selfish. I mean, he went and saw another girl when we were dating, his ex-girlfriend, okay, told me he was going to the casino to go gamble. And then he called me an hour later and was like, oh, I'm done playing poker. And I'm like, oh, but you normally stay till 2 a.m. You're done in 45 minutes. That's weird. Come to find out, 2 days later, he had gone to go see his ex-girlfriend. Then he says to me, oh, I'm sorry, I went to go see her. And then she found out that I did have a girlfriend, which was you. And she didn't want to take it any further because I wouldn't break up with you. And I said, okay, but it still doesn't make it okay. Like, you still did things.
You found out. It's like, you could have said that in a text or on the phone before you go over to see her. You could have told her, oh, by the way, I have a girlfriend.
But I guess she knew he had a girlfriend.
Oh.
I guess she was trying to make him break up with me while they were doing their thing. And it didn't go any further than, I guess, just like a kiss or something like that, because he said, no, I'm not going to break up with her. So when I found out about it, he said, and I was really hurt because by then we'd been dating for like a year and a half. It's like, and he's 50. Like, at what age do you stop? Seriously. And again, no kids, selfish, self-centered prick. And I said to him, but you hurt me. Intentionally, you hurt me. He says, I swear, well, I didn't intentionally do it because you weren't supposed to find out.
What? Okay, and that's just awful. And I'm so sorry you had that happen to.
I know.
Ew.
I know. Run. First 1 month, 2 months, run. If the guy is not willing to give and just wants to take, run. He is not the one.
You had red flags from the beginning with him because he also lied about his age.
Yeah, he said he was 48. He said he was 38. In reality, he was 48. And I still,
that's like the experience I had, but I never saw that guy again. You ended up, okay, but it wasn't the same, but yeah.
Yeah, I ended up dating him because I'm like, oh my God, he's so handsome. He's so this. And like, yeah, stupid. And look at how it ended. Yeah, like crap.
Yeah, that's awful. I'm so sorry. Okay. Well, in terms of what other things, like learning from a last relationship, for me, like I've had a couple of long distance relationships. I would never do that again.
Really? Oh,
like, okay, unless like, okay, if we meet in the same city and then I'm away for a limited time or he's away for, we have plans to like within a year to like reunite within a certain time. But like I've had relationships that have started long distance and they never work out. I mean, okay, I don't want to say it never because there are some people who do, but not for me. And because of those experiences, I would never do it again. And I told you there was a guy recently who like hit me up through Facebook, and I told him like, listen, like I'm really flattered, like, cause he asked me if I'm single and all this stuff. And I said, listen, I'm really flattered, but I live in Houston, you live in New York. I wouldn't date somebody.
Yeah.
Another thing I learned like is like trying to like talk about things before they escalate. Because I've been one to like, I don't want to like rock the boat or whatever. And something's bothering me. And I just like, I don't want to say it. But then the issue is like, I keep it inside. Then when it keeps it happening again and again, or the issue gets worse, then when I finally say something, it's like very strong. It's like, you don't know, and it comes out like very hurtful. And so like, I've made that mistake. So I think, communication. And then in I guess the most recent like breakup for me, what was it, like last September or something, before I moved to Houston, and this guy was like gonna like help me move and all this stuff. What I learned from that relationship was, I can do it all by myself. I did it all by myself. Like I packed up my car, I drove alone from LA to Houston, and it was bad. And I'm proud of myself for that.
I know, so proud of you. You drove like 3 days, right?
Yeah, it was 3 days. But you know what? Yeah, like it made me feel so much more capable because like, you know, I did all this for myself. What else can I do by myself? You know, like
exactly. It's endless. Possibilities are endless. You can do it all, you know?
So, okay, and speaking of breakups, here's a question. When you break up, do you delete all of their pictures from your phone?
No, it's not awful.
You keep
So
them.
so I keep them all. And I think depending on how long I've dated them for, like if it was somebody that I was with for like a month and it was a stupid relationship, yeah, I delete them. But if it was somebody that I dated for 6 months plus, I keep them because eventually, so I know this is stupid, but what I eventually want to do is I keep them in my phone. And then what I want to do is, eventually print them all out and put them in an album so that I could go back and put the year where I dated them and then remember. And oh my gosh, I went to Colorado this year and I did this year and I went to the snow with this person this year. And, just to just look at my life, I guess. And when I get older and like, oh my God, look at this guy I used to date and then laugh, look back and laugh at it and point him out, narcissistic jerk that I was dating and laugh at him.
Wow. Much. Wait, so you actually want to do when you're retired, you actually want to do a photo album of all your exes?
Pretty much.
Okay. Yeah. Well, for me, I actually do. Well, I keep some. I keep them in like a hidden folder on my phone. Like I feel like sometimes I'll go through and I'm like, you know what, when I'm ready to delete it, I'll delete it. How do you cope with a breakup?
Okay, so the way I cope with a breakup, first of all, I get back on the dating sites. I don't waste any time.
Like right away.
Right away. Yeah. I go out with my girlfriends. I go on the dating sites. I keep myself busy with work. I literally full on go on like busy mode so that I don't have time to dwell on this breakup, not saying that I don't process it because I do eventually when you go home and you go to bed and you think about them, depending how much you like them or not. But when it really hurts, I just keep myself busy. So I'm not thinking about them so much. And then I date so that I'm distracted. So I guess distraction is what I do. Yeah, to keep away from being depressed, even with my own personal life. Like if I feel like I'm depressed about something, I will go out and go with my girlfriends, get a massage, like go get a facial. Like I don't ever let myself get depressed.
Like the first few days, like depending on the relationship, like the first few days, it's hard when you wake up sad. Like when you're dealing with heartbreak, you actually wake up like literally like for me, yeah, like a couple of years ago when I was going through a breakup. Yeah, there was like a whole week. I would just every morning when I woke up, I'd wake up and feel sad because of immediately it's like the pain of the breakup. Because when you're asleep, it's kind of like the break from it, and then you wake up, like that's the worst. But after like the first week or so, like I talk to like friends, like therapy, like talking about things, talking about my feelings, not talking to the guy. Like I do like what
avoid them.
So interesting. When is the right time to move in together?
Okay, so that I would say depends on your age.
Okay.
Right? Like in your 20s, not a good idea. I think your 20s are good for exploring life and getting to better yourself so that you're good, focusing on what you are wanting to do career-wise or traveling-wise or friends-wise, experiment with whatever it is that you want to do, unless it's drugs, don't do. What I'm saying is you can experiment by traveling the world and, your 20s are for, I guess, getting the partying out of the way, your 30s, I would say 35, 32, maybe even.
I mean, for me, it depends. Like I actually would not move in with a guy unless we were like engaged or married, just cause like, why, like if I'm married, okay, then you like, that makes sense. But like when you're not even like married or engaged, like it doesn't make sense for me. There was actually a time where I did let a guy move in with me when I was in Dubai briefly, and it just like was awful.
Was it? Oh
no! I think because like it was my place, and I was used to it being all like everything was my way, and like this, so I think maybe if you're both moving somewhere together, it's good. Or like maybe if you're moving to the guy's place and he's like super laid back and chill, then it's cool because it's like I think when you live in a place, and I lived in that place for a couple of years before the guy moved in with me, and it was like it shouldn't have happened anyway. But
exactly. So, I would say late 30s, maybe early 30s, like 32 and up.
Oh, okay. Would you hook up with a guy on a first date?
So the guy that I'm dating now, I did. And I didn't mean to, but I did. It was awful. And
you ended up together. So
yeah, 6 months later, we're still together. So I think, honestly, I know people say the longer you wait, the better. But I think it has to do with chemistry. If you hit it right off the bat from the first date and you're like, oh my God, I don't want this date to ever end. He's so funny. She's so funny. You're attracted. I'm attracted. I say do it when you feel like it's right. I feel that way. Yeah. Before I used to wait, and honestly, it ended up in the same boat. It didn't work out. It's like I waited a whole month for no reason.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, for me, like, I'm kind of on the fence on that. Like, I've not hooked up with a guy on a first date, but that said, like, yeah, I don't want to say like never say never, but like, I mean, I don't plan, just because for me, I don't know. I like to get to know the person a bit more, but who knows?
Me too. And you know what? You'd be surprised because, like I said, I was always so calculated about that. I'm like, oh, I'm waiting a month. I'm waiting 3 weeks. And this time it just so happened, it happened with this guy, first night. Oh my God, just shocking. I'm like, you know what do I have to lose? If he never talks to me again, fine. But at least we had a great time and it was what it was. And sure enough, the next morning we had a nice breakfast. And then fast forward 2 weeks later, we went to Puerto Vallarta together during COVID. And, 6 months later, we're still together. So.
Oh, second to last question. What makes a relationship successful?
Respect. I think what makes relationship successful is respect for one another. I think that you have to grow spiritually and professionally when it comes to building an empire with somebody else equally. They have to respect the path you're on. You have to respect the path they're on. And if you are like on a spiritual path or more positive path, try to bring them in with you, because that is what's helped my relationship grow, was because I was still so immature and so negative and this and this. And this guy was so mature and he's spiritual and he's positive. And it's just, I was drawn to him. And so because of that, I feel like I respect him and he respects me.
Yeah, I would say respect. I would say, well, number one for me, communication.
Yes.
Like that goes hand in hand with like honesty.
Yeah.
Like if somebody lies, even if it's about like a small thing, it's like, why do you want to date me if you're going to lie to me? Like,
yeah, no.
Like why, like, wouldn't you want to date somebody that you can be vulnerable with and like open with and just like level with and tell? So yeah, I've had that. And I don't know, sometimes it's because the guy like wants to impress me or like wants to seem like everything's perfect or like whatever. But like, if you lie about things, it just makes things like worse. Even if it's something stupid, I'll be like, it's like, last question. What's the most romantic thing somebody has done for you?
Let's see. The most romantic thing somebody has done for me. Oh my God. I guess for me, it was when I went to Puerto Vallarta with the guy I'm dating now. There was a photographer on the beach and he was like, yeah, here you guys, pose pictures. And so the guy I'm dating now was so cute. I mean, he totally did like a photo shoot. I thought it was weird. And I was going to just pose next to him. No, he picked me up and twirled me around. And yeah, it was so weird. It was so fun. So fun. And to me, that was very romantic. Like it wasn't planned, but at the same time, he went with the flow of things, So the guy probably thought we were like married because he did take all these pictures. And what I regret is the fact that you get these pictures at the resort after you check out and I forgot to get them. But that was the most romantic thing. It was so fun.
Pretty romantic. Yeah, I'm trying to think of mine. Like, I mean, I've had boyfriends who've done really romantic things. When I was in Dubai, I remember I had one guy I was dating. He just he showed up. He knew I was having like a rough time with something. He like showed up like in the parking lot with like my favorite pistachio gelato.
Oh, yeah.
And like a balloon. When I was in Mexico with a boyfriend, yeah, he was like, he did like those really like romantic like beach dinner things. That was really cute. Yeah, yeah, I know that's kind of like, very like the hotel, it's very touristy, those little like, on the beach, like little tents, romantic candlelight dinner. Like but it was like fun. Like, it was sweet. He like did a little like invitation with a photo of us. And it's like, do you want to come over to a sleepover on this day? Like we'd already like hooked up, like we've been together for a few months, but he's like, you're invited to a sleepover, and he's like a picture of us, and it's like on this day, like, and it's like at this time, it's just like movies, snacks, and quote unquote other things or something like that. It was just like cute.
Oh, no way.
Like and, yeah, like just like, because I'm like a words of affirmation person, like words of affirmation. Yeah. And like, that's like the main thing. Also, yeah, like, affectionate and like, like gifts.
Yeah.
Just like, it's like the thought that counts. I've had really like some really romantic gestures like with my past, but.
Oh, well, I have a question for you, actually. what would your perfect like relationship be? Like, how would you describe like a perfect relationship for you? Like, what would it be?
The perfect relationship is, I just think, one where there's like a like really good communication, and like where you can like ask for help from each other, and like where you feel comfortable like being yourself with that person.
Yes. Okay.
Um,
Nice. Like genuine. Yeah.
yeah, caring, I think, like just somebody who's like caring and like kind and just like that I enjoy being with and that I can be myself with. It helps if
Yes.
they're like funny and they don't take themselves too seriously. I think that helps too.
Yes.
If the
Yes.
person's
Yeah.
like too rigid, it's like it's like I feel awkward talking about stuff unless I've had a few drinks. And it's like, oh, it's like I don't feel,
Yeah. Yeah.
What
That's
about
so
you?
true.
What's your perfect?
Well, it's funny because I can relate to what you said just now when I was dating that 50-year-old guy. His name was Jeff. I would say some things and I was 38 and he was 48. So I would say some things and he would say, "How old are you?" And I was like, "Oh my God," it was so awkward. Like he was never fun. We never laughed together. He was always so serious. It was like dating my dad or like a grandpa or something, you know? But the guy that I'm dating now, he's so funny and he's genuine and he laughs at my stupidity or whatever I say. We just laugh together. He never once makes me feel stupid. Not once. If
Good.
anything, we laugh together. And so you're right.
Yeah, because I've had that where like a guy, maybe the guy's like trying to be funny, but like it's very off. Like you can tell when it's just not, it's like weird. Like this one,
Yeah.
like you try to like say or like try to like tease me about things, but it was like, huh? Like because you're so used to them not being funny that when they try to be funny, you're like,
Yeah.
oh, okay. And then like
Yeah.
he said the same thing again because he thought I would
Right.
laugh, but I still didn't laugh.
Life is too short to be taken so seriously, Just let it go. Who cares what people think?
Yeah, it really is. Well, thank you
Yeah.
so much. It's so great to see you.
I know, you too. I had to put my hair up. It's hot out here in California. Oh my God, it's like
How
100
hot?
degrees.
Oh, wow.
I think it's like 93 right now. I know.
Okay.
I have all that hair. It was so hot. So I put my hair up. Sorry.
Amazing anyway. So
Thank you, doll.